G'day there guys, Wishes here with Steve Owen here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-Hole? It's your host Markee. I hope you enjoy the show. Sit back, relax, and tell me all about it in the comments down below. Thank you. Posted by user Fun Organization Ma'am. Titled, Am I the A-Hole for setting up my ex-husband to look like a bad father? I'll keep this short. When my and Ex's daughter Megan was turning 13, she wanted a tiered Harry Potter cake. She loves the movies. She was very specific in what she wanted. I told her as gently as I could that I didn't think we'd be able to afford that. And my ex took that opportunity to be the fun parent and said in a doting voice, "Oh baby, don't worry. Daddy will get you your cake." She was all smiles and ran off to get her bags. I told him if he was going to promise this, to order it early, because bakeries require advanced order. He got all huffy and said he knew what the hell he was doing, and I should mind my business. I said anything involving our daughter is my business. He said he didn't need my help and I should just handle the birthday party and he would get the cake. I said okay, and then they left for the weekend. I know my ex. He puts off things that aren't about him. I knew he was going to forget to order. Usually I'd pester him so he wouldn't forget, but he said he didn't need my help, so I decided to not bring it up unless he did. But I did call a friend I have who started decorating cakes to order the cake from her. It cost a bit more than I'd have liked, but not as much as I'd been worried it would. Well, he never brought the cake up again. At least, not until the day before her birthday, where he called me frantic. He forgot to order the cake, and now none of the bakeries will take his order without tacking on a massive fee, because there is no way they can have the cake ready unless they focus their full staff on one cake. I was going to tell him not to worry. I ordered the cake for him. But then he says, "Why didn't you remind me?" I just snapped and said he needed to figure this out and he better have a cake tomorrow, then I hung up. He brought a cake. A plain white sheet cake with red trim, and one of those print-out sugar decals on the front of Harry Potter and his two friends, and a wax 11 candle. She was turning 13. He revealed the cake during her party. So everyone was sitting quiet, and Megan looked heartbroken and tried to be nice, but she asked what happened to the cake she wanted. X floundered, and I let him for a few seconds before laughing, "Ha ha, just kidding," and then I went and pulled the cake I ordered from the kitchen. Megan lit up, and everyone laughed, and it was just one huge joke, and the rest of the party went great. But after everyone went home and Megan was in her room, X tried to lay into me about humiliating him and letting him look like a bad father. And I told him the only one who made him look bad was him. I think I was justified, but some mutual friends think I should have just told him I got the cake to keep things civil between us. Am I the a-hole? I'm gonna go with no. I mean, it does prove that he is a bad father for letting his daughter down. And really, you got the best of both worlds in this situation by embarrassing him and then playing it off as a joke. He knows not to repeat that again, and if he does repeat this mistake again, wow, it just proves that he's a terrible father. It's kind of crazy when you're terrible and you rely on others to remind you not to be someone that forgets constantly. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe I need to fix myself. Kind of crazy how that works, eh? Absolutely none of this is your fault, OP. You did everything right. You did better than expected in all honesty. Not the a-hole. Edit. I never told Megan, or even planned to tell her, not until she was older maybe, but she started acting very chilly to X for a long while after her birthday party, and when he asked her why, she admitted to almost walking into the kitchen when he and I were whisper arguing the night of her birthday. She found out he'd completely forgotten to order the cake, and the joke cake was actually the real cake he got her. So she was very cross with him for a long time afterwards. Edit 2. To everyone thinking I purposefully waited to have him reveal the joke cake before showing the cake I ordered, I didn't. I'd planned on pulling him aside before the party and letting him know I just went ahead and ordered a cake for him. Then we would take in the big cake and leave whatever he brought in the kitchen. But he showed up after all the guests had arrived, so I didn't have time to grab him before he sat the sheet cake box on the dining room table where everyone saw it. And I knew everyone would notice us taking his short pink box into the kitchen and coming back out with a taller white one. I thought on my toes. Not the a-hole. You actually saved him from looking like a bad father. Putting that in quotes because he doesn't look like one, he is one. By having the cake that she wanted ready and making it look like his crappy contribution was just a joke. I am extremely glad that this man is your ex and that you were there to be a real parent to your daughter. Yeah, but he was mad that I let him feel humiliated instead of just showing him I got the cake. I'll admit I wanted him to feel like crap for forgetting Megan's cake. He deserved to feel like crap for it, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole? It sounds like to everyone on the outside that you two were in on it and just teasing your daughter. He's the only one that had to sit there and crap his pants because he screwed up. He should have dropped to his knees and thanked you and asked how much he owed you for the damn cake. But he didn't, which is one of the many reasons we are no longer together. Next time, save the cake for a private party or later and don't give him a parachute, because I doubt this is the first time he made you look like an awful parent so he could be the fun parent. Not the first, no. When we were together, he was constantly going behind my back, ignoring punishments for Megan, and just making me out to be some villain while he was daddy the hero to her. She's not falling for his crap anymore since I stopped saving his ass. Not the a-hole, dude was seriously embarrassed that his poor behavior was so easy to predict that you had a contingency plan. Your friends are wrong, but they are coming from a place of sympathy for their friends, and because they want to keep the peace in the friend group. It's understandable, but still wrong. Good for you, mama. I understand them not wanting drama or whatever, but I feel like I'm the one having to do everything to keep the peace, quote unquote. Posted by user Mammograms, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that her holiday plans are selfish? My daughter is 24. She recently got married. She and her husband recently bought a log cabin on a small island in the middle of a lake. The lake is in the middle of nowhere and at least a good 6-hour drive from my house. Her father and I invited them to our house for Christmas Eve dinner, which is a tradition in our family. However, my daughter told me that she and her husband are planning to spend December 14 to January 6th at their cabin, just the two of them and their dog. Even though the lake will be frozen in the winter, they plan on getting there by snowmobile. This is just her way of making sure that they won't have an excuse to entertain guests. I told her they can't just shut themselves out from the world during the holidays. I haven't seen them since the spring. It's breaking my heart that my own daughter would be so callous. My husband agreed and lectured her over the phone. Now my daughter isn't returning our texts. Am I the a-hole here? It's crazy when you try to control your adult married children and treat them like a child, saying, hey, you can't do this, I haven't seen you, you're being callous, and then you get your husband to dogpile on top of them that they're just going to block you and ignore you. Crazy how life works like that, hey? I kind of think you deserve this treatment if you will not have some introspective and see that, hey, maybe they want to be left alone this holiday season, and maybe that's their prerogative, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, it sucks not to see someone that you haven't seen since the spring, but if they want to spend their time together, and it's not been a problem in the past, well, I don't know, maybe you're making a problem out of nothing, OP. There's always time in the future to go see them, let them have their time together away from the world for a bit. You're the a-hole. I told her that they can't just shut themselves out from the world during the holidays. They're adults and can do whatever they want. Have you stopped to consider why they would rather be in a cabin in the middle of nowhere instead of at your Christmas Eve dinner? You're the a-hole. My mum never stopped to ask why I dodged her or family gatherings. That crap sucked. My mum and I stopped going to my aunt's for Thanksgiving a few years back. Mum and I usually spend Thanksgiving ourselves with our own meals. OP is 100% the a-hole here. This. She is 24 and married. She can do whatever the FK she wants with her holiday time. Your husband lectured her over the phone? Congratulations on driving away your daughter. Your job as parents was to raise your children with the tools to make informed, independent decisions as adults. Once they are adults, you don't tell them how to use those tools. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. Your daughter just got married and wants to spend some time with her husband. This isn't selfish. This is normal. This. And it's kinda special this year, lol. We're fighting a pandemic. There are more than 100 cases every day where I'm at, and I'm respecting the quarantine. There is literally no safer place than an isolated, private-owned log cabin. You've clearly never seen dead snow. No, and I haven't heard of it either. What is it? Movie where Nazi zombies attack a snowy cabin in the woods? Then again, I might take them over OP's mum. You're the a-hole. What exactly gives you or your husband the right to lecture your adult daughter about how she spends her time? I think I know exactly why they don't want to spend the holidays with you. Your daughter is an adult now. She gets to choose how to spend her time and who to spend it with. They are newly married and want to spend it just the two of them. You don't need to like it. It's not your life. You don't get a choice. If you want any kind of relationship with your daughter, start by apologizing for overstepping and don't bring it up again. But given your daughter's reaction, I guess this is far from the first time you've acted this way. Posted by user Not Karen's Dad. Titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to name our daughter Karen? So my wife and I recently found out we're having a daughter. We hadn't really talked about names before, but we both agreed that each of us will retain veto power. When we did start discussing names, both of us wanted to name her after our late mothers. Her mum's name was Karen, and my mum's name wasn't a meme. I told her the baby can take my mum's name as her first name and her mum's name as a middle name, or have an entirely different name, but I can't okay Karen as a first name in any case. She got offended because she just wants to honor her mother and thinks I have a problem with that. I just don't want to set our daughter up to be bullied throughout her life. I told her I'd be fine with whatever first name she picks, as long as it doesn't lead to the baby being picked on later in life. But she's pretty insistent on Karen. I know that we've covered this topic, specifically the name Karen, a few times before, but I think it's good to just repeat the message. I think that if you don't want to name your kid a particular name, and your partner does, they should respect your decision and move the goalposts to a name that both of you guys can agree on. There's no point trying to force a kid's name that your partner doesn't agree with and knows that your kid will get picked on in school and throughout the rest of their life for, when it's easy enough to not have resentment in the relationship and just choose another name. There's plenty of names out there. Yes, you want to honor your mother, but, the middle name suggestion can work as well. I would say that more communication is required in this relationship. As it stands right now, OP, not the a-hole. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up. I thought I'd delete this since the issue is pretty much resolved now, but you guys are clearly enjoying this, so I thought I'd provide an update. We had a talk about this, and why she had such an emotional reaction to my veto. Ever since her mum died suddenly when she was only 14, she's wanted to name her first daughter after her, and she didn't really ever consider that the meme might be a potential obstacle. By that point, I'd thought about it for a while, and realized that, as many of the commenters pointed out, Karen likely won't be a meme by the time she's old enough to feel its impact. So I told her I'll recant my veto, but we should still reconsider it because it still has potential complications, and we might just come up with a better tribute. While exchanging ideas, we realized that both our mothers very coincidentally had the exact same middle name, Elizabeth. Well, mine had 2 middle names, and Elizabeth was one of them, but still. It seems completely perfect to both of us, so we're going with it. Thanks for all your inputs. Not the a-hole. It was a normal name, now it's a joke. Imagine Baby Karen. People are going to make jokes all her life. It's a joke with our generation. It's doubtful it'll be a joke in hers, but regardless, parents get full veto powers on names they don't like unless they abuse that power. I've heard the general rule, 2 yes, 1 no for naming, and it seems pretty solid. Both parents have to agree on the name for it to be considered. If one parent doesn't like it, it's off the table. They've kind of shot themselves in the foot with the passing a name down thing though. Veto power gets muddy when you do family names. I'm the 4th generation with my name. We had a daughter and won't be having another child, but if we had a boy, he was not getting my name. It's just super annoying until the older one dies. If she had been a boy, I wanted to name him, pronouns getting weird, after my maternal grandpa, who was the most important adult male in my teen and later life. No a-holes here. You both have good reasons, you suggested a compromise, and you've discussed veto power. I think the only solution you can find is to convince her to accept other suggestions and find something else you both agree on. Not just discussed. According to OP, they agreed to veto power, but now the wife is backing out of the agreement. That alone makes OP not the a-hole, and his wife slightly the a-hole. Posted by user GrammarPolice0610. Titled, Am I the a-hole for being offended I was asked for a favor while I'm on chemo? I, 41 female, was diagnosed with breast cancer back in June. Devastating for the whole family, including my hubby, 46 male, and my kids, 13 female and 15 male. I am going through chemo, and it is awful. But I try to put on a brave face and keep things as normal as possible for my family. I rarely let them see how sick and tired I feel. I save my ugly crying for when I'm alone in the shower. When anyone calls and asks how I am, I give the standard, I'm fine, don't worry. Chemo isn't so bad. I can do a lot of things for myself. I don't need anything. I hate asking anyone for anything. I'm trying to maintain my independence as much as possible. Not so for my mother-in-law. So when she had a party, which we would not attend due to the current situation and my immunocompromised health, she asked me to contribute by making my specialty dish. I flipped out. Who asks a sick person for a favor? Even though I say I'm okay, it's because I don't want anyone to worry. But doesn't everyone know without being told how awful chemo is? Isn't it common sense? Whatever little energy I have is reserved for my kids, not catering a dish for a party. I saw this as just another selfish request from mother-in-law. Hubby, of course, doesn't see anything wrong. We have been arguing about it. He says I cook and bake at home and for my family, and he is tired of me bringing it up and dwelling on it. I say he is so easily manipulated by his mommy. He has such a blind spot for when it comes to his family. If I say anything about his family, he takes it as a personal insult. I say his family is my family, and I'm allowed to call out when something is wrong as many times as I want. I can't believe he's defending her on this when my days could literally be numbered. So, am I the a-hole? More info? I'm sorry, but I left out that the request was made to my husband, who relayed it to me. I'm not really upset with my mother-in-law. More so hubby, who said, so what? Big deal. You cook for your family. When I wanted and needed him to say, yeah, that's kind of out of line for her to ask, and shut her down when she asked him. He knows very well living with me that I'm not well. He's the one I'm mad at. Mother-in-law doesn't even check in on me that often. She's called me once a month maybe. I haven't said one rude word to her. I was going to go with everyone sucks here because it seemed like you were attacking your mother-in-law and, she would have understood and she's one of these r/just no mother-in-law, just no monster-in-law types and didn't give a flying hoot about your health. But it seems like the shoe is on the other foot, and it's your own hubby that is kind of letting you down in that department by not acting for you and on behalf of your health. And obviously, as your life partner, he should know your situation, know where your energy is at, know where your priorities are at. And he's not representing you properly to those that are asking for a favor, I guess, in some sorts, or are asking you to expend energy on something that you don't have the energy for currently. The craziness of this year, plus the chemo, really puts you in a bad spot emotionally, mentally, and, physically, obviously. I absolutely cannot blame you for the way you're acting. Your husband should be representing you better, and I feel like he's let you down. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. Edit number 2. Thanks everyone for the responses. Quite a variety of responses and no clear consensus, so this is all clear as mud in my mind. I learned I need to be more honest with how I'm feeling. I really will try. Honestly, it's because I don't want to alarm my kids. For everyone else, I just can't stand the pity. I don't have the same energy to console anybody else. Some of you will know what I mean. It's just easier to say I'm fine, it's how I cope. I'm not a complainer, and those who really get me are still incredibly supportive. Just knowing I have cancer and I'm in active treatment is enough for literally everyone else in my life to ask what they can do for me, not what I can do for them. Thanks everyone who wished me well. The kindness of internet strangers really moved me. To those of you who really believe I'm the a-hole, thanks. I will try to be more honest with how I'm feeling. But would you really ask your sick friends to cook for you? Seriously? My mother-in-law is self-absorbed and always needs a favor. She has a history of making unreasonable requests with wide-eyed innocence, and idiot hubby falls for it every time. I'm not so easily manipulated though. So no, this was not her being kind to include me. I get I may be overreacted, but I'm dealing with a lot. All my long-term plans have gone up in smoke. I lost my breasts, my hair, my nails, my looks, my stamina, my strength, my financial security. There is not one part of my life, not one cell in my body that cancer has not touched. I will never have peace of mind again. This monster will chase me for the rest of my days. I live in constant fear my children will be dealing with lifelong grief and the emotional scars that it will leave. I have nightmares of my babies saying goodbye to my emaciated body on my deathbed. So, no, mother dearest, I can't make mushroom risotto. Idiot hubby has first-hand witnessed to my mental and physical struggles, and he has been incredibly supportive, except for with his mum. It's so weird he's super defensive of her. It's a total blind spot in his judgment. No a-holes here. If you're pretending everything is fine, then you can't be shocked when people take you at your word. It sounds like bottling up everything you're going through has been very tough on you. It's fine that you don't want people to worry, but that's what a support system is for. Ask your oncologist if they can recommend any nearby support groups for people going through what you are. Exactly. OP is so busy pretending everything is normal, and then gets pissed off when she's treated like normal. She doesn't have to get into the down and dirty details, but shouldn't get mad when people don't understand her reality because she is hiding her reality. I am married to a man who is a cancer survivor. I get it. It's exhausting that your whole life becomes explaining your situation. She needs to find a better way to handle this, and a support group can assist in that. How is it normal to ask someone who is not attending an event to cook for it? I mean, it depends. I cook for my in-laws all the time and send something most times, even if I'm not able to go. Sometimes if my brother-in-laws are having a dinner party or the like that I can't go to, or it's for the other side of the family, I'll make them something because they are vegan and I like to try vegan recipes. My in-laws get pierogies for basically every get-together, whether I go or not. So my mother-in-law asking me to make some would be totally normal in my world. Alright, that's where I think I'm going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I really do hope you learned something or just really enjoyed the posts that were put up today. Quick shout out to all my new and existing Patreon and channel members. You should be able to see your name on screen right now, and if you don't, then I don't think you're part of the club, and you really should join the club because it's a great club. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for supporting me in this journey. It really means so much to me, and I love you all so much for it. Thank you for helping me out. As you can tell, I'm now happy and healthy back in Australia. Thank God it's not cold like Ireland. I don't like wearing jumpers everywhere. I prefer the heat. Thank you very much. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Anyway, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you later. Bye.